computer. And now I'm zooming to a region that I've never been before myself. I'm going to Georgia, I'm going to Tbilisi, and I'm saying hello to Keti, let me get that right, Mikashavidze. How are you, Keti?
Very well, Nils. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Tbilisi. It's great to have you with us. You work with a company called HCI. What does HCI do? And I believe they're Spanish. What makes a company from Spain move into Georgia? Two questions in one.
Sure. HCI stands for Hotel Collection International, which is an international hotel management company. We position ourselves as a white label hotel management company. Majority of our projects are indeed based in Spain, and most of the team is based in Spain. But at the same time, we operate on various markets, and including Georgia, where me personally am based.
And you're in charge of the operation in Georgia?
Operations and development. So basically the whole region of CIS, we're overlooking from here, from Georgia. At the moment, we have hotels in Georgia, both under operations and under development, and with a perspective to develop throughout CIS market.
Mm-hmm. And what made the Spanish owner expand into Georgia? Because it's not, it's not France, it's not Portugal, it's not Morocco or whatever, which is close by. I mean, it's kind of far away.
Indeed, is a bit different from European markets, but after a number of very nice and successful projects in this part of the world, the companies are thinking about possibility of development in this region, because the region had a lot of perspectives and growth in tourism. And we're not as if not in Georgia, because in this region, Georgia has been the fastest growing country in terms of tourism. And in a certain period, in the past a few years, we've been one of the world's fastest growing tourism industry. And of course, it brought a lot of development to the country, to the industry, and development in terms of hotels, construction of new hotels. And it was very interesting to base here the regional office. Just for your information, for reference about the Georgian tourism figures, with a population of only not even 4 million people, before the pandemic, we've been hosting up to 9 million international visitors per year in 2019, which was double our population. And the growth rate, for example, in 2005, we were still hosting around 500,000 of international visitors. And 10 years later, 2015, we have increased that 10 times to host 6 million. So that's more or less the tempos that were taken by Georgia in terms of tourism development. And having an amazing infrastructure, having an amazing opportunities, developing infrastructure was a very logical step for Georgian tourism development. And that is what we're seeing nowadays on the market.
And while we're still with the Georgian market, where are the people mostly from? What is is there one big market and a few smaller ones, or are there a couple of big ones? How does it work? Who comes to Georgia?
Historically, most of our visitors are coming from the neighboring countries, which is Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Russia. So let's say they're at the moment our largest source countries, but in a past decade, we have seen the proportional decrease of those countries and a faster growth from the countries like Middle East and Europe. Mm-hmm. Europe was at a certain point one of the fastest growing markets for us, and it's also very interesting market as the, let's say, a payable possibility of the tourists is higher. So it's also interesting for us to attract more European tourists. And Georgia has become a topic for European tourists as well. When traveling throughout Europe, every now and then you're seeing all the advertisements about Georgia and travel to Georgia. So it's very nice to see as well.
Well, I certainly would love to come. I told you in the warm-up discussion that, I had friends who motorcycled from Amsterdam to Mongolia, but they spent quite a bit of time in Georgia, and they loved it, and they showed pictures, and I loved it too, and I said I must go, definitely must go. Now,
you see, it's becoming a hot topic indeed. And there is a reason why, because basically Georgia has to offer so much to different type of tourists. We're worldly known for our gastronomy. We're worldly known for the cultural heritage, like for example, the wines. We are now accepted as the first producer of the wine in the world, 8,000 years ago. So there's so much to offer in the nature, like you can be skiing and then 2 hours later you can be sunbathing on the seashore.
that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
It is.
Now, in the pandemic that we find ourselves in, talking about not fun, how have you fared? How has the regional support functioned? Were you also in lockdown, or did you come through it better? What's the situation like now? And looking back a few months.
Looking back, I would say a year ago, as an international hotel management company, we had a certain advantage in Georgia in front of other hotels because Spain has been hit a little bit, few weeks earlier than Georgia. So we already had an example of what happened in Spain in terms of lockdown, in terms of closing the hotel, and preparing the hotels for this potential lockdown. So we kind of, here in Georgia, we started acting a little bit earlier than others. So by the time when hotel operations started to be restricted by government, we were ready for it. And we had already the hotel partly prepared for that conserved. So it was easier for us to go into a lockdown period. And since then, in the past year, the challenge, I think, was the same for everyone. The challenge was to fight for survival and to try to break even, let's say it.
And you managed to do that?
We're managing it.
Excellent. Well, that's great to hear. Now, swinging into a different subject, we're almost finished with March, but March is still, and every year is Women's Month. And when I first met you and we connected on LinkedIn, I looked and I saw in the background there, I saw the Best Women Entrepreneur in the Tourism Industry Award 2019. You won that. That's amazing. Congratulations again, because I think there was there one already in 2020? I'm not sure.
For that particular category, I don't believe so.
Okay. So you're still the title holder, the most recent one. What does it mean to you? And what is the impact of such an award in your industry?
Well, thank you so much for bringing that topic and for your congratulations. Indeed, it is very honored to be holding this award. Me, myself, I came back to Georgia from traveling throughout different countries and from living abroad for 10 years. I came back in 2012 for a reason, because I wanted to be part of Georgian tourism development. Seeing how tourism was growing, I thought that my knowledge, my experience would be something to contribute to that development, and my ambitions were to be part of it. And back then, Georgian tourism was mostly focused on developing capital city and second largest city, Batumi, which is a big seashore city. And the regions of Georgia, which are such an amazing destinations, with a lot of resources, were not really touched by hospitality. So for me, it was very motivating to be part of that regional development and to bring the hospitality to the regions of Georgia, to create workspaces, to share the know-how with the local team members, with the local people, and basically to increase their life quality by bringing to them an international level hotels. And that ambition is still with me, working on it on a daily basis. Nowadays, all our developments, I would say 90% of our developments are focused on the regions of Georgia. And for me, it's very honoring to see that my efforts put in the regional development of hospitality was also recognized by Bank of Georgia and by Georgia National Tourism Awards and by Tourism Administration, which means that basically I'm not just wasting time, and for someone my job is important and recognized. So it was very nice to get this award. So I thank again all the awarding parties. And for me personally, that award was very important, also in terms of further development, because it brought, I don't want to say kind of a status, but more of an awareness on the market and more visibility on the market. So it really helped me in developing further and bringing a new project and in communication with different parties.
How many women are in leadership positions in your company now? You have got how many hotels now in Georgia?
At the moment running, we have 2 hotels, and the GMs are ladies. So we're here.
100% as far as top leadership is concerned, 100%. That's fantastic. Not many companies can say that. Are women? It's maybe a controversial question, but do women make better hospitality leaders?
That's a very tricky question, Nils. And I think answering that straightforward will take us to a very unsustainable so
I apologize for making it so controversial, but let me tone it down maybe a bit. Does the ability to think outside the box, the ability, and most people would say that is what women, one of the female strengths, to think outside the box, to have more empathy maybe than some men could do. Does that help to be a good, let's not say better, because that could be controversial, but does it help to be a hospitality leader, to those abilities, empathy and outside the box thinking, and maybe even multitasking? Because my wife always tells me that I'm not very good at multitasking, and women allegedly are.
Well, yes, here I think worldwide tourism is pretty much made of lady team members mostly. At least here in Georgia, from what I'm seeing, we're talking about at least 60% of industry employees are females. So also as part of, let's say, our sustainable and social, corporate social responsibility, it is also very rewarding to have ladies on the management of those teams, because it is kind of a very good example for other team members to follow and to develop. So it does, let's put it that way, in this part of the world where partly the mentality is influenced by, I don't want to make it politically incorrect, but by Eastern culture, where ladies have been starting to work just recently, and before there was still that attitude that women should not be working, having a GM, successful, strong lady, is very rewarding when you're seeing how those eyes shine in the team members when they see that this is potentially their future. So I don't know, I'm not ready to answer about the empathy or multitasking, because I think that it can be very personal and independent of the gender, but definitely it helps in creating great teams.
But then on behalf of the male species, I can say thank you for making that happen, for making those eyes shine, and for showing the way that there is a career path in our industry, because I think that's what we all need in our industry, for people to see it as a career and to flourish in that. So thank you for that work that you do there. Thank you for your time. We've run completely out of time, but it was really interesting talking to you. Thank you so much, and all the very, very best. May we recover very soon, and may I travel to Georgia very soon. Keti, thank you so much.
Welcome to Georgia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nils. Goodbye.